Story 1, The Knock That Knew My Name. It was just past 1:30 a.m. when I heard the knock. I live alone in a quiet suburb on the edge of town. It's the kind of place where dogs bark more than people talk, and the most exciting thing that ever happens is when someone gets a new mailbox or pressure washes their driveway. My house sits at the end of a cul-de-sac, tucked into a little corner with no streetlights, just trees and silence. I was on my couch, wrapped in an old plaid blanket, halfway through a rerun of Unsolved Mysteries, which, looking back, feels like the universe was trying to drop a hint. I couldn't sleep. My mind was racing about work and bills and life, so I stayed up. I wasn't even paying attention to the show anymore, just staring blankly while the blue light flickered across my living room walls. Then I heard it. Tap, tap, tap. Soft, almost polite. Not a knock like someone trying to sell you something or a delivery person too lazy to ring the bell. No, this was deliberate, quiet, like someone wanted me to hear it, but didn't want anyone else to. I muted the TV and sat perfectly still. For a moment I thought I imagined it. Maybe the house was settling. Old pipes, the wind, anything. Then came the second knock. Knock, knock, knock. Louder this time. More insistent. Still rhythmic. Still calculated. I live alone, and no one comes to the door at 1:30 a.m. I don't care how polite it sounds. My heart started to race. But I moved quietly to the window. The living room blinds only open a few inches unless you yank the whole cord, and I didn't want to make noise. So I peeked out through the small slit between them, slowly, my eyes adjusting to the porch light. And that's when I saw him. A man, mid to late 30s, maybe early 40s, average height, wearing a gray hoodie, pulled tight around his face. He was standing perfectly still, a few feet from the door, but he wasn't facing it. He was turned sideways, like he was waiting to rotate dramatically toward me. His hands were in his hoodie pocket. His stance was casual, too casual. Then he turned, not quickly, not like someone startled, slowly, deliberately, his head tilted, and then he stared directly at the peephole. Not the door, the peephole. Like he knew exactly where I was looking from, and that's when he said it. "I know you're watching me, Claire." He didn't shout, didn't bang. He said it like a statement, calm, director, like he was confirming something he already knew. My blood ran cold. I stumbled backward, tripping over the coffee table and slamming into the arm of the couch. How the hell did he know my name? I don't keep my name on anything outside. I have no welcome mat, no name on the mailbox, nothing on the door. I don't have social media under my real name. I'm paranoid like that. Always have been. I work from home, barely leave the house unless it's to get groceries, and even then I wear a hat and earbuds. No one should know my name. I grabbed my phone to call 911. No signal. I don't live in the boonies. I always have service. Always. But in that moment, the signal bar showed a red X and emergency calls only. My heart was pounding so loud I couldn't hear anything else. I crawled to the hallway, away from the front of the house. I didn't turn on any lights. I didn't want him to know where I was inside. I waited for the sound of footsteps, or a window breaking, or, God forbid, a key turning in the lock. But there was nothing. I waited in silence for what felt like an hour. At some point, I must have fallen asleep from exhaustion and fear, curled up in my hallway like a child during a thunderstorm. When I woke up, it was light outside. 7:08 a.m. The first thing I did was check the front door. Locked, untouched. Then I looked through the peephole. Nothing. No one. No sign of a man in a hoodie. I opened the door carefully. The porch was empty. The sidewalk, clean. No footprints. Nothing disturbed. I backed inside and shut the door fast. That's when I remembered the Ring camera. I'd installed it 6 months ago, but I rarely used it. My notifications were off, and I only checked it if I was expecting a package. But it records everything. Motion, audio, even shadows if you walk near enough. I opened the app and loaded up the timeline from the night before. There it was. 1:33 a.m., motion detected. Length, 32 seconds. I pressed play. It showed the front door, the porch, the exact time I heard the knock. I watched as the door sat still, silent. Nothing. No man, no hoodie, no one. I scrolled back, forward, played it again, adjusted the brightness, listened closely for the knock. Nothing. Not even the sound of knocking. But I heard it. I saw him. He said my name. I checked every other clip from the entire night. Just the wind, the rustle of leaves, an occasional car down the road. But no man, no voice, no knocking. I told my friend about it later that day, trying to laugh it off, trying to convince myself it was a dream. Maybe I fell asleep with the TV on and imagined it. Maybe I was sleepwalking. Maybe the stress was getting to me. She came over that night with wine and snacks to help me shake it off. We sat on the same couch, laughing nervously. She tried to reassure me, saying it was probably a nightmare, and I started to believe her, until she asked to see the Ring camera. I showed her the clip, the nothingness. Then she said, "Wait, can I see what the camera recorded earlier that day, like in the afternoon?" I scrolled back. There it was, footage of the mailman dropping off a package. There he was, clear as day, and that's when my friend leaned in close and whispered something that made my stomach drop. "Claire, the footage from the mailman is recorded in color." She was right. The mailman footage had full color, green grass, blue sky, my red door. But the night footage? It wasn't just dark. It was completely gray, desaturated, flat, lifeless, like it was recorded in another reality. That was a week ago. I haven't slept since. Every night I stare out the window waiting for the knock. I don't leave the house. I don't answer calls from unknown numbers. I move the couch away from the front windows. And the worst part, every morning I find muddy footprints on the porch. Only one set, leading to the door, but none ever leaving. Story 2, The Crying Woman at the Door. It started with the doorbell. Not a knock, not a pounding, just one gentle chime at exactly 12:47 a.m. I remember the time so vividly because I had just turned off the TV in my bedroom and was plugging my phone into the charger when I heard it. One of those soft ding-dongs that almost makes you question whether you imagined it. But I didn't. I live alone in a small house near the outskirts of town. Quiet neighborhood. One way in, one way out. It's mostly older couples and young families. No one ever rings doorbells this late unless something's wrong. At first, I thought it was a mistake. A drunk person, maybe. Or someone looking for the wrong house. I peeked out through the upstairs window. I could barely see the porch from that angle, just the top of someone's head. And then I heard it. Soft, muffled crying. Not a scream or a wail. A quiet, restrained sobbing, like someone trying not to cry too loud. That's when I realized it was a woman. Now I'll admit, part of me hesitated. This world is messed up, and you never know what people are capable of, even women. But the crying sounded real, desperate, human. I grabbed my phone and turned on the porch light using the app. The security camera feed loaded slowly, lagging like always. I could see her now. She was facing the door, early 30s maybe, wearing a long brown coat, her hair soaking wet from the light rain outside. She was barefoot. That detail stuck out immediately. Her feet were muddy, one heel bruised or scraped. She looked broken. I made my way downstairs, slowly, unsure of what I'd say. I didn't open the door right away. I asked through it. Are you okay?" She startled, stepping back from the door and looking toward the Ring camera, her face now visible. Tears streamed down her cheeks, her lips trembling. "Please, I don't know where I am," she whispered. "Can I use your phone?" I hesitated. Every instinct in me screamed not to open the door. But her voice, there was something in it. Fear? Trauma? I couldn't just ignore that. What if she had been in an accident? What if someone was chasing her? So I did something I don't normally do. I opened the door, just a crack, chain still on. She immediately moved forward, not aggressively, but with urgency. "Please, I just need to call my brother. I was walking home, and I got lost. I left my phone at the bar, my shoes too. I didn't know where else to go." I was about to respond when I noticed something strange. Her eyes didn't look right. They weren't bloodshot from crying. They were dilated, wide, like she was in shock, or on something. I started to close the door again, and that's when she whispered something that made my blood run cold. "You live here alone, right?" I froze. I hadn't said a word about living alone. I never mentioned it. There was nothing on the porch to indicate I lived alone. I slammed the door shut and locked every bolt. I backed away, my heart pounding. I turned off the porch light and watched from the window upstairs. She just stood there, motionless, staring at the door like she was waiting for it to open again. I called the police. I told them there was a woman outside, barefoot and crying, acting strangely. They said they'd send someone right away. 15 minutes later, the woman was still standing there. No movement, not a twitch. Then she turned slowly and walked off the porch, disappearing into the shadows beyond the camera's range. When the police finally arrived, they searched the area. No trace, no footprints, no signs of a struggle, no one matching her description in the area. One officer looked at me with a weird expression. "Are you sure you saw someone?" he asked. I showed them the Ring footage, except there wasn't any. No recording, no notification, nothing. Just a blank timestamp during the exact time I saw her. The officer said it was probably a dream, sleep paralysis. Maybe I'd imagined it. But I didn't. I know I didn't. The next morning, I checked my door frame. There was a single fingerprint smudged in the condensation on the glass. Small, feminine. It wasn't mine. That should be the halfway point. Now here's where it gets darker. For the next week, nothing happened. I told myself I was lucky. Whatever that was, she was gone. Maybe it was a drug addict. Maybe someone playing a prank. Maybe something worse. But she was gone. Then, on a Friday night, I stayed at a friend's place across town, just for a change of scenery. Around 1:15 a.m., I got a call from my neighbor, the one who lives across the street. "Hey, did you have someone over at your place tonight?" "No," I said. "I'm not even home." There was a long pause. "Well, there's a woman standing on your porch. She's been there for almost 10 minutes. I couldn't breathe." "What does she look like?" I asked. "Brown coat, wet hair, barefoot." I told him not to go outside. I begged him not to open the door. I called the police again, but by the time they arrived, she was gone. No footage on the Ring, just static, blips of movement that never resolved into anything. Now it's been 2 months. Every couple of weeks, someone sees her. Sometimes at night, sometimes in the early morning fog, always standing silently on my porch, crying. Sometimes she speaks. Not always. But when she does, she says the same thing. "I don't know where I am. Can I use your phone?" Last night I received a notification from my Ring. It was from 12:47 a.m. Motion detected. I opened the clip. At first it was just the porch. Then the feed distorted, glitched, and then there she was, standing in perfect clarity. Only this time, she looked up directly at the camera and smiled. It wasn't a comforting smile. It was like she was acknowledging me, like she knew I was watching her. Again. I checked the app history this morning. The clip is gone. No record of it. Just one line where the video should be. Corrupted file. I called the Ring support team. They looked into it. They said, and I quote, "This file shouldn't exist. There's no motion detected, and there's no record of the doorbell being pressed." Then, silence. They told me they'd escalate the issue and get back to me. That was 4 days ago. And now, I've started hearing the doorbell again. Not every night, but always at 12:47 a.m. Story 3. The Man Who Asked for Water. This happened during the hottest summer of my life. I live in Arizona, about an hour outside Phoenix, and when the heat rolls in, it doesn't play around. We were in the middle of a brutal heat wave, days touching 117 degrees Fahrenheit, and nights barely dipping below 100 degrees. My AC was fighting for its life, and I was drinking water like my life depended on it, because it probably did. I live alone in a modest one-story home at the edge of town. There's desert on one side, and a row of similar homes on the other. It's quiet, isolated, just how I like it, or liked it. It started on a Thursday night. I was in my living room, shirtless, standing in front of the fan with an ice-cold bottle of water pressed against my neck. It was about 11:45 p.m. I had just finished watching some YouTube horror compilation, ironically, and was thinking about going to bed. That's when I heard it. Knock, knock, knock. I jumped a little. My brain didn't register it at first because, well, who the hell knocks on someone's door at midnight in the middle of the desert? I walked to the front door, cautious, but not scared. Maybe someone's car broke down, I thought. Maybe they're dehydrated or lost. When I looked out the peephole, I saw a man. He was older, maybe mid-50s, wearing a white undershirt soaked with sweat, his skin leathery and sunburned. His hair was messy, his arms scrawny, and he looked like he hadn't slept in days. He looked straight at the door and croaked out, "I need some water." I didn't open it. Something about his tone wasn't right. Not panicked, not pleading, just robotic, flat. I replied through the door, "There's a gas station a few miles up the road. I can call someone for you." He didn't respond at first. He just stood there. Then he said louder this time, "I need your water." I backed away from the door. I don't know why, but that phrasing unsettled me. It wasn't just that he needed water. He needed mine. Like it had to come from me. Like it was part of something bigger that I didn't understand. I told him I was calling the cops, hoping that would scare him off. Instead, he stepped closer to the door, so close I could hear him breathing. "Please don't call anyone. Just a drink. Just one." I didn't say anything. I walked to the kitchen, grabbed a sealed bottle of water from the fridge, walked back to the door, and cracked it open just enough to slide the bottle through. He snatched it fast, too fast. Then he said something that chilled me. "This should be enough. For tonight." He turned and walked away. Not down the driveway, but off into the desert. No flashlight, no car, no shoes. Just disappeared into the darkness. I didn't sleep much that night. Something about the way he stood there, the way he asked for my water, the way he knew to come to my door specifically. None of it felt random, but I convinced myself it was just a drifter. Maybe someone delirious from the heat. I told myself I did the right thing and helped someone who needed it. But then it happened again. 2 nights later, 12:02 a.m., same knock, same man. Except this time, he was smiling. I checked the peephole and nearly jumped out of my skin when I saw his face right up against it, eye wide, pressed to the glass. He whispered, almost sweetly, "You remember me, don't you?" I didn't answer. I didn't move. I just backed away slowly. But he kept talking. I brought your bottle back. And sure enough, when I checked the porch the next morning, the same water bottle I had given him was sitting on the doormat, empty, the cap placed neatly on top, like someone offering it back as a gift. And on the label, written in thin black marker, "See you soon." I installed motion lights, new locks, and even added a second deadbolt. I started sleeping with a knife under my pillow and a bat by the bed. But then came the third visit. This time, it wasn't just a knock. It was singing, a low, wheezy humming sound, a tune I didn't recognize, almost like a lullaby, but broken and off-key. It started around 12:30 a.m. and lasted for over 10 minutes. I didn't look outside this time. I didn't want to see his face again. But the next morning, I checked the footage from the camera I had installed by the garage. It caught him, walking around the side of the house, dragging his hand along the siding like he was feeling for something. Still humming. He stopped near my bedroom window and stood there for a full 2 minutes, just staring. Then he walked over to the hose by the wall, turned it on, took a single sip, and walked back into the desert. I filed a report with the sheriff's department. They sent a patrol car the next night. The deputy sat in his cruiser down the block, waiting to catch the guy. I stayed up that night. 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m. Nothing. The next morning, I went outside. There, on the porch, was another water bottle. But this time, it wasn't mine. It was old, dusty, the label half torn. Inside was a folded note, written on yellowed paper. One word. "Thanks. No prints, no footprints. Just that bottle." The deputy said they didn't see anyone all night. Not a soul. That was a month ago. I haven't seen him since. But every week, without fail, a new bottle shows up on my porch. Each one a little older, more weathered, from brands I've never even heard of. Some in glass, some cracked. One had a cork in it. No more notes, no more knocks, just bottles. And last night, there wasn't a bottle. There was a photo, a printed picture, black and white, of me, sleeping, from outside my bedroom window, and on the back, in that same thin black marker. "Now you're the one who's thirsty.